Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about a newly phrased subject called third-hand smoke. Now, just travel back in time with me a little bit to when smoking was allowed in every establishment. Didn't matter, restaurants, theaters, stores, hotels, you name it, it was allowed, right? So now let's think about if you were a non-smoker, what was it like when you would enter these establishments? What was it that you would have noticed first? Was it the immediate odor? Or perhaps it was the blue haze that would be circulating throughout the air. As a teenager, I worked in a restaurant. In fact, it was a truck stop. So everybody and anybody who came in there was usually a smoker. But what I remember about working there is the color yellow. The owners all smoked, and I just remember their fingernails would be yellow from the nicotine, in the cigarette smoke from the smoking. And as the smoke from the cigarette would maneuver its way up, it would settle on the grandma's beautiful white hair, causing this front part here to be tarnished with this yellow. Every year they would do a painting job in there because everything would be so yellow. The ceilings, the walls, but I remember them always painting. And after only a few months, you could start seeing that residue on that surface again. So think about it. If smoke can do this to your hair and your fingernails, to walls and ceilings, imagine how it gets absorbed into your clothing, the interior of your car, carpet, drapes, toys, furniture, literally every possible surface imaginable. And the off-gassing of this chemical residue is third-hand smoke. So what exactly is third-hand smoke then? First-hand smoke is from the actual smoker. He's standing there, he's smoking, you're inhaling that smoke, or he's inhaling that smoke, sorry. Second-hand smoke is when a non-smoker is inhaling the smoke of the smoker, the fumes of the smoker. Third-hand smoke is the particles from tobacco burning device that get absorbed into materials such as your hair, your clothing, your furniture, your carpet, walls, beddings, towels, the list, it can be anything. And it was actually, you might think about it as being a new phenomenon now because it's being studied more now, but it was actually discovered back in 1953. So it's not something really new. It's just been maybe renewed as far as being studied and the effects of it can have. So why is third-hand smoke so dangerous? It's especially dangerous. It's dangerous to everybody. Let's just put that out there. But especially dangerous to young children and pets. Because we know the effects of first-hand and second-hand smoke as far as the dangers of possible cancers and different things like that. But this is for young children and pets. Think about the implications to them as well. Here they are crawling around and playing on the furniture and the carpet. That means they are closer to the surfaces for breathing that stuff in. Okay. And kids, infants, they touch everything, and then what happens? It all goes in their mouth. So not only are they breathing it, but it's on their skin, which absorbs it on their clothing, but they're also basically eating it because it gets on their hands. And the same thing is true with your pets and your fur babies. They breathe the same air as we do, and as your children and as your pet, your infants. They walk in the same area as your children. And after doing so, what do they like to do? They like to lick their paws, and they lick the actual surfaces. So they are also ingesting this stuff. Nicotine reacts with indoor air pollutants to form a gas. This can be carcinogenic. It produces off-gassing. Think in terms of new cars, new homes, new furniture, mattresses. They all have these chemicals in it, and it can take months or years for those chemicals to off-gas. And that off-gassing produces a smell because of the chemical, and then you're inhaling that. It's the same thing with this third-hand smoke. You're inhaling that off-gassing. And it can just be a continual cycle if it's constantly there. And it can be constantly there because it cannot be diffused simply by opening a window or using a fan. I will say if it's something that's just freshly done, it's easier to get rid of versus something that has been there for years and years and years. Most of the time, if it's in your carpet, or it has been in your furniture for years, or it's on your wall, I mean, you have to replace them. Your drapes, you have to replace the stuff. And in order to get it off of your walls and your ceiling, you have to paint it. So it's not just a simple, oh, let's clean over it. Some surfaces, if there is diligent cleaning on a regular basis, it can keep it off of it, but it's still, you can't do that with carpet. It's still going to be absorbed in the carpet and in the fibers of your furniture and your surfaces. So it's interesting. In 2020, there was a Yale study that was conducted in a large, modern, well-ventilated movie theater to track thousands of compounds present in either gases or particles over the course of the week. Okay, and the organic compounds found in tobacco smoke spiked dramatically during R-rated movies. I mean, it was there during other movies too, but mostly really spiked during R-rated movies, because those were the people who most likely were to smoke or be exposed to smoke. That's when they would arrive at this R-rated movie, and it would just spike, in these compounds. Even though, and this happened, even though regulations, those strict regulations were in place to prevent smoking indoors, near entryways, and near air intakes. It was still there. So how did it get there? It's on their clothing, it's in their hair, they're bringing it in with them. People, this was so bad. The gas emissions were equal to that of being exposed to 1 to 10 cigarettes of secondhand smoke in a 1-hour time frame. That's huge. That's a huge exposure. People are carriers of their environment. This includes their clothing. Whatever their environment is, if it's on their clothing, their hair, their personal belongings, purses, scarves, it goes with them wherever they go. So this includes not only cigarette smoke, but think about the impact of those who are chemically sensitive. Chemical fragrances do the same thing. And for anyone who is chemically sensitive, this is really, really important to know and to recognize this, because it not only includes just contaminants from cigarette smoke or tobacco smoke, but it's going to include chemical fragrances such as perfumes, laundry products, air fresheners, scented candles. If anyone uses these products in their home, they now enter your home, it's on their clothing, they sit on your furniture, it's now on that furniture, you sit in it, or you just smell it now because it's now in your home. Vice versa, if you go into their home and you're sitting on their furniture, it's already been absorbed in their furniture for years, probably. It is now being absorbed on your clothing, and it's now you're taking it with you to someplace else. So I'll give you some personal examples here. Just recently, we went and bought an inversion table from a private owner, and we were looking at it from outside, and so we got it home, and the next day I felt like I had been hit by a truck, like I had this hangover, and I couldn't figure it out. And then it dawned on me to go down and check out that inversion table, and sure enough, the thing was so strong with like laundry smell or whatever it was. So we have taken it outside. They said it was only a couple years old, but it's plastic. It's going to absorb anything that is in the environment. We took it outside, we set it in the sun for 2 days. It did help a little bit, but it's still there. I mean, it's still strongly there. So then now I'm spraying it with my special formula spray to see if that will help it. I'm not sure it's going to completely get rid of it. I mean, it's something that I use every time I go into a hotel room. I'll spray the vent systems. I spray down everything. But because it's been a couple of years, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get rid of it, to be honest with you. We'll just have to see what it does. I'll just keep spraying it and see what happens. But I had, the smell just gets deep into the pores of the material. So it's very hard to reduce the toxins in it. Now, for somebody else, it might not even bother them, but when you're chemically sensitive, it's there. When my mom passed away, she had a bedroom set that I really, really wanted. It was something you just can't find anymore. It was a bookcase headboard, and I just really liked them. I had one as I was growing up there, and I really wanted it, and I wanted a table that she had. So we brought them home, and oh my goodness, I couldn't even keep it in the house. I had to put it out in the garage, hoping it would air out there. I mean, this is years and years and years and years and years of laundry, a scented laundry being used, that she loved. And it just is so ingrained into the pores of that wood that there's no way you can get it out. So I had to see if I had to give it to another member of the family, which I'm happy that they were able to use it. So it's just a case in point that how powerful these compounds can be and how they can transfer from one place to another. It's all in our environment. So what's on your clothing can get absorbed by what's around you. It's not just you leave the environment and it's done. It goes with you, and you take it then with you to other places. So that is what third-hand smoke is. And in my opinion, chemical sensitivities are the same way. They transfer just like that smoke does. and from my personal experience as well. So hope this has been enlightening to you, and I hope that you can think about it and see how it might impact your life. Now, go be awesome.